Christian can hook me up. but I'll also look for other like. Okay, now I sound really petty. Oh my god, why did I say that? Oh my god, I didn't think that through.
No, I'm playing.
I didn't think that through.
I'm playing.
I didn't think that through.
I'm trolling you.
I'm trolling
Raj.
He just looked back at me. It was like,
No.
Nice. All right, so we just synced up all our orders. This is the first time we're doing a podcast in person. We've got 2 cameras set up. We've got a light. We've got plants and everything. Christian and Steven finally met for the first time.
We pulled him out of the basement.
I'm finally here, guys.
And this is the first time everyone's seeing Steven's face. That's another thing I just realized.
No, it'll be funny. Can we get like a black? I want a black screen.
Cover him editor.
I don't want anyone to see him. He's my property. He lives. No one needs to know where he lives. No, I don't want anyone seeing him. But yes, we're here. He's here.
So what's your first impressions, Christian?
He's everything and more than I wanted. Everything and more. He's so beautiful. I love Steven. I think everyone needs a Steven in their life.
Oh, thank you.
I think Steven's like, Naruto. He's like Choji. He's the Choji in the group, minus the strength and minus the reliability. Dude, this week, so Steven helps take photos, well, actually take the photos of clothing I would sell. You know how I used to resell Palace, Bape, Yeezy, whatever. So still sell stuff on eBay here and there. So one of the products, it was like a jacket called the Running Man jacket, or it was like Palace running jacket. And the description he typed, check the last 2 photos for the 2 different holes we have. And then someone bought it for like $180. And I checked the last 2 photos. It's a photo of the second last photo is a photo of the hole, and the last photo is a photo of the same hole zoomed in. And I was like, Steven, the last 2 photos are the same hole. I was like, no. And then 2, he named the jacket the same name as some other jacket. He didn't name it the right name of the jacket. We had 2 jackets that were completely different looking, named the same. But like the last photos doing the same photos, that made me facepalm real.
So as you can tell, he's a work in progress. But he's our work in progress. This is our Steven.
Yes. When I touch Steven, I get like a jolt of angst. I don't know, it's like really... No, don't worry, I love you, Steven. I think I'm not gonna say, because when I was in America, like I was like burnt out, and like the team was like, yo, like dude, you're so like angsty, like you're so angsty. And I was like sitting there, I was like, they're like saying I was like getting triggered. I was like, I was burnt out, I was getting triggered. I was getting more angsty, and the more they'll tell me that I was angsty, I got even more angsty.
100%. Like at work, everyone just goes, oh, you're the stress head. Why do you stress so much? I'm like, shut the bro. Like obviously I'm stressed for a reason. If it's whether it was work or something else, like don't just pounce on me more and just get me more mad. It's like
exactly, and just compounds and it gets worse.
What are you trying to do? But look, anyway, we're in episode 10. We made it 10 episodes deep. That's why you're seeing our faces here today. That's why we decided to do something a little bit different. We've eaten a lot of food. Yeah. I'm very full. So full. Yeah, episode 10 episodes deep. Thank you everyone for watching, supporting. If you're listening, if you're watching, appreciate it very much.
I highly appreciate it. Like I'm like, so we actually forgot to upload episode 8. And as Christian was saying, people were like, yo, where's the next episode? And I was like, holy shit, like we have weekly listeners now. And one, I want to say that thank you. I appreciate you guys. Like I really do. And 2, like, damn, this is awesome. Weekly listeners, like what the
I didn't think we'd get to a point either where we'd be like, yeah, to the point where we have maybe like a core select few weekly listeners, but more so that 10 episodes deep, you know what I mean? Like
we have like at least 15 to like 25 listeners that are like rabid, where they're like listening to like a lot of like a huge portion of this. So thank you guys.
And like obviously YouTube views also like count as well. So thank you everyone that watches as well. So
and YouTube would add like another like, well, YouTube will get like 80 to 150 views, and then like probably like 5 to 10% would stick through to the end. So that's like another like solid like 5 extra listeners. So thank you guys if you guys are listening from YouTube. But yeah, as Christian said, Christian brought an amazing feed. We just had an amazing feed. We're talking, catching up. I think everyone here is in a food coma, so we're going to try and talk. I'm just going to talk a lot to get everyone waken up to make sure we sort of. I have this theory: when you eat a lot of food, like when you go through the afternoon slump, you either like succumb to it and you just get knocked out, or you like work fast enough where like you can burn off the food before you get into coma. So like you're trying to like balance it out and start burning off the food and have the food work in your favor just before you burn out.
It's literally a mental thing, eh? Like I've noticed it as well. It's like, well, everyone it's called the 3 p.m. slump essentially, where it's like you get to that point during the day and it's just.
People survive that in the 9 to 5. I struggle with that.
I struggle as well. Like usually that's a time where you get a coffee. And it's just such an unnecessary expense that I really need to stop sort of getting into the habit of doing. But it's like also like just get up and just like, because the way we work is we have a break in the morning. Well, we're entitled to a break in the morning, obviously lunch and then afternoon.
Oh, tell me about the morning break.
Morning break, it really depends because if there's a lot of work.
Just skip past it.
Do you have KPIs, Christian?
Yeah, but like we haven't been monitored because I'm still fairly new, so I'm not that monitored on it yet. But I will be hitting it because I'm doing well. Okay, I'm doing well at work, doing well. But the morning break is alright because sometimes I'll just go get a coffee in the morning, and it's bad because if I get a coffee in the morning, I don't want to get one in the afternoon. So in the afternoon, either I get one or the other. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely go on a walk just outside just to freshen up and then come back. But if it's really busy, just got to get down and stuck in and then get the work done. But yeah, it's been alright. 3 p.m. slump just hits different that way. Like you're right, it's definitely mental. You either let yourself succumb and just feel yourself just slowly drifting away and drifting out of consciousness. But how do you deal with it, Stephen?
Me, 3 p.m. I try to get a bit of work done and then I chuck a nap.
In my mom's like, Stephen's gonna say he just succumbs to it.
Yeah, and I think everyone knows. Yeah, I knew he'd succumb to it. Couldn't finish the freaking one week.
Dude, it still went to 2 days. Oh,
2 days.
2 days.
That's okay. Look, that's why I feel bad because we keep him locked up all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'll feed him. We don't pay him.
I was so bored in the basement. You didn't let me out.
Found him on the streets. We don't pay him. So I'm like, you know what? I'll feed him.
Guess what, guys? Stephen locked down our first sort of sponsor where we're gonna get free goods, guys. 10 episodes in and Stephen locked in our first sponsor. So congratulations, Stephen.
Thank you.
Put in the work. You reached out to 60 different companies. So I'm really impressed.
Thank you. I guess when it first started, at first I was like, oh damn, I don't know if it's gonna work out or not. And then, Andy told me, it's like, Stephen, you give up too easy. I'm like, really? I give up too easily? No, I want to get you a sponsor, Andy. I want to get you a sponsor and I want to make sure that your podcast can just keep on going higher, get more listeners, so that I had that mindset drilled into me. And that's how I just kept on reaching out. Yeah, for our podcast.
So he's learning.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's learning. He's doing well.
I want to implement what you've taught me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm happy as you grow. I roast Stephen a lot. And I think you'll probably I need to roast the same issue probably 3 or 4 times
before it gets through to him. You sound like a parent. You sound like my parents. Like, I keep telling you to do this and you're doing, Stephen, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
And hopefully my theory is when you roast someone in public, in a group setting, it sticks more. Yeah. So rather than use energy and roast him when there's not an audience, I would save it for the podcast so it'll stick and it'll have a bigger effect. Because when you roast someone or when you criticize, it's tiring. I don't want to go ahead and tell you guys that what's something that Stephen did today that was facepalm. Do you remember anything? Was it?
Oh yes, I remember. Okay. When we were filming the TikTok and then my hands were so shaky trying to bring the thing in, and I was like, shit, why can't I do this? And then you were like, Stephen, you're so retarded. What? I was like, shit.
I think what would improve is if we let you out in the sunlight a lot more. Just don't keep you locked up in the basement all the time. Yeah. Look, he's our work in progress. He's our happy work in progress. But we move on. How was the week?
I need to do the hover hand. My week was pretty good. Starting to find my balance. Over the last week,
So today's a Saturday. Yeah. We usually do it on a Monday, so we haven't caught up in a while. So that's why
I think the last time I talked about figuring out my balance and how like I think I went like too like extreme where I just do whatever the fuck I wanted to like too strict, which was like I burnt out. And this week I found out like the power of sleep. Like I just started sleeping more, and all of a sudden I just started becoming more happy. But it was so hard. It took me like the past 2, 3, 4 months. Like I knew that, okay, to fix burnout, you just sleep more. But why did it take 3 or 4 months to get to a point where I started sleeping more? Because like when you're burnt out, for some reason you procrastinate, you can't sleep, you struggle to sleep, you look at your phone because you can't sleep, then as a result you sleep later, as a result you get less quality sleep, as a result the next day you're more burnt out, so you're more prone to those things I just mentioned. It becomes this bad cycle. So the lessons I've learned is, if I get through like a pretty like exhausting point, just like cancel a day and like start reading at 7 p.m. till I knock out. To just reset and just start sleeping early every day afterwards to just completely get back to the perfect state. I thought that I needed to like go on a holiday, take time off, go to like New Zealand or like go to the outback and like get an Airbnb for 2-3 days. But I think all I need is just like more sleep. And like I'll just get back all the energy that I'm missing, because when you're like working like burnt out or less motivated, you're like 70% you. So that was like one new thing I discovered. So hopefully I'm just gonna sleep a lot over the next 1 or 2 weeks and just like get back to my peak. That's the goal.
Not read, I've heard that being on your phone a lot just before you sleep is really bad for you, apparently. Like really bad for you. I don't know what sort of scientific or whatever effect this has, but all I know is like it impacts your sleep really negatively. You like it.
It becomes this bad habit where the moment I walk into my bedroom, I just whip out my phone.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And I lie down and I'm trying to pick up the phone, my book, but instead I pick up my phone and I check a few things. And I end up checking a few things for the next half an hour.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just something that I do all the time now. Like I close my lights. I turn my lights off. I go into bed, and I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
In the dark. I'm in the dark. I'm on the phone. Like that's all I do. Like I don't know. And then I just fall asleep. Like I just put a phone down. Do you do that?
Yeah. I think the habit started developing around like year 11, 12ish, because I was like so stressed.
Yeah.
And then like after,
Because you don't have time during the day to go on your phone, and then
like, oh, you know, I want to see what everyone's been doing. Yeah, relax. But then I realized like, holy shit, my sleep schedule has been so bad. You know, I would have to like, I'd go to sleep at like 12, and then I'd be on my phone till like 1, and then I have to wake up like 6 the next day. I'm like, oh shit. I realized, oh my God.
like that 1 hour that you've been on your phone just relaxing, you don't realize that the next day you're gonna hate yourself, and it's like.
And not only that, is the quality of sleep decreases as well.
Something I need to get into, a good pattern I want to get into.
Christian, what time do you have to wake up to get to work?
I've started to get into work a little bit earlier because public transport, I hate public transport.
Dude, apparently Australia has since I didn't know what other public transport was, I thought we had good public transport. But I heard like in like UK, like other countries, it's like every 5-10 minutes.
When you've been to like the Singapores, the Japans, the Koreas, the public transport there is insane, dude. Yeah. Well, apparently it's like if a train is a minute late in Japan, it makes the headlines because it's so much of a rarity. Yeah, like it's so prompt. It's such a good service that they have. Have you been in Singapore?
I have not.
Have you been Japan?
I have not as well.
You've been in Singapore?
I've been in Singapore, yeah. Well, I only been there on layover.
Layover, right? Okay. Well, when you go, like, just say you have a longer layover, just take a train or whatever, bro. The trains are insane. They're like the way that works. Anyone that hasn't, it's all underground, right? For Singapore. Yeah. So the train comes and like. Because it's underground, like you go down the tunnel and everything is like really nicely enclosed. It's not like, I don't know if anyone here is listening in like Sydney, but town hall station is the most rank and disgusting.
It's terrible.
Anything with tunnels in Sydney is disgusting.
Right, but the way it's beautiful, dude. It's like you want to go in the tunnel because it's all completely like, it's closed off, it's ventilated from the outside so you don't get the fumigation of fumigation of the trains. It's all closed off. It's beautiful. It's air conditioned. It's clean. And so what happens is the train comes, and obviously because you're enclosed, there's, you know how the trains work here is you got doors there's carriages and there's 2 doors in every carriage usually, right? Yeah. So it comes off. So there's heaps of like sliding automated doors, and then the train stops exactly at one of the doors where the train doors open. So the train doors and the actual platform doors. The platform doors on the top. Okay, so like the platform's here, right? So on the edge of the platform, there's automated doors. And then the corresponding doors fit with the train's actual compartment doors. So the way it works is,
So people can't jump off.
That's so smart.
Everyone's stuck inside in the underground. So and then they've got like sections where they line up. And in Japan, like, because I was just there earlier this year, but you have a lineup. People line up, not like Sydney where it's like
During rush hour, basically, holy crap.
People line up. The train comes very prompt. So every 5 minutes, the train's there, and it's like, well, in Singapore at least, it's like because you're all enclosed, and then the inside opens up, and then when the inside opens up, then the actual train doors open up, and then you go through, and then it closes off, and then when you get off again, then the train doors open, then the corresponding platform doors open. It's so like, it's amazing, dude. I hate Sydney transport so much. Oh, something so simple that you think can be implemented here.
We're just so behind. Another thing I don't realize is like, dude, it's crazy. We're only like 200-300 years old as a country.
We're fairly new, yet somehow we've managed to fall so far behind these Southeast Asian countries. Even Vietnam had some good trains when I was there, dude.
Didn't?
Not saying anything bad about Vietnam.
I didn't know you go to Vietnam.
Wait,
Really?
when was it?
When's this?
A long time ago. I've been lucky to go to a lot of countries. Like I don't want to sound like a wanker, but like I've been lucky to go around to a lot of countries, like Europe. I've been in Vietnam. I went in 2013, I think. I think it's changed a lot. But yeah, I love Vietnam, dude. I loved it. It was great.
So one of my friends from uni, he was telling a story how there's these sleeper buses where it were just like buses that would drive in Vietnam for like hours and hours. And there's all these buses, all these beds, layers and layers. Yeah. And within each beds, there's these gaps. Now, it's the bus is packed. So everyone's sleeping. It's all full. All the beds are full. And then if you buy a cheaper ticket, then you sleep in the gaps, the sides. You sleep in the gaps in between the beds. And then he was saying how he saw like a guy that was sleeping in a bed go up to go to the bathroom. And one of the guys in the gaps just slid over into the bed and took his spot.
Just like that, you pay for the cheaper ticket and you get the bed.
Sleep.
Exactly.
That's so funny. But like, that's
typical Vietnam.
That's so Vietnam. Like when you think,
But dude, another thing, like, I've seen those videos of like the trains in India, crazy. Like how like they're just so packed, and you see like people standing like on top of the trains.
that was like a meme.
Yeah.
Where it's like Indian Titanic and the car was like at the front.
It's like packed. It's like everyone's like swished. Oh, dude.
It's crazy to think, isn't it? Like no matter like you go to different countries and you think everyone's human. It's like the way that we're all brought up in the different countries, etc. It's weird, isn't it? Like the trains Like I hate trains now that I think about it. You know what I mean? The more and more I think about it, trains, bro.
On that topic, do you know how Japan is known for some things that go in the trains? How like the trains get really packed, and like I don't know if it's like fake or it's like based on real circumstances. But do you know like how like do you know what I'm talking about? How like
those videos.
They would like get really tight and guys would just start like groping or like girls, and like the girls like are so shy they wouldn't say anything. So apparently that's
no, I know what you're talking about, and it's like I hope it's not a thing there, but yeah. Look, at the end of the day, internet's just a
it's scary.
Weird, scary place, because when these ideas and these videos just become so common and frequent and easily accessible, it goes without saying with anything. The spread of misinformation, this topic.
And I wanted to say, like, our generation, we didn't have any other things. Like we didn't
Correct.
like
Correct.
we forget that people in the past they had to like these kids, 12-year-old kids, they'll sneak into like
Library.
or like 7-Eleven or like corner shops, and they'll steal magazines. I was like, holy shit, that's a thing.
That was how they accessed it, you know?
And like you can't imagine using a still photo. Like that's not.
Yeah, like think about it. Like 20 years ago, you'd have. I'm not saying you'd. I'm saying that it would be common for teenagers to have a magazine stashed underneath their bed. You know what I mean? Like as they depict in the movies, obviously. Anyway, like it's one of those things where it was like, you know, like it was like. I don't know those movies, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know,
It's like those teenage movies.
Yeah, those coming of age movies. that you see often. Yeah, like the super bads, and it's like you see, and I'm like thinking like, dude, that's crazy. Like,
Dude, have you seen? There's this new movie called Bad Boys or something where it's basically super bad, but the kids are 12 years old.
yeah, Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen and then the boys, Tremblay, like the new Justin Bieber Lonely music video. Have you seen that? The actor, the boy.
I've heard of the movie. It does look funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but it's weird, isn't it? Like these little kids.
Yeah, they've gotten younger. Like everything is just getting more and more explicit, and like back in the days, like you'd be talking about this stuff maybe when you're like 18, 20.
Yeah.
Now people 12 years old, and with TikTok 9 years old are
That's
like.
a problem. Like it's actually like see like
Our generation.
like it's just literally becoming a thing where it's so easily accessible, and it's something that we don't realize. Where even like a teenager would like say, like how would you police? How would you police say your child's activity? Because I think it's going to be a big problem for us. Say we go up, say we have children, right? How would you police and monitor it? Because it's say 10, 15 years down the line, it's going to be so much more different than it is now. And you have platforms like TikTok, like Instagram, where it is like obviously there are like Netflix Kids, there is YouTube Kids, there's all these kids monitored platforms where it's like a safe space environment. But there's also the other end of the spectrum where you have your TikToks where it's, you know, say teenagers.
TikTok is like a bait. It's like a. TikTok is scary. It's like.
I know what you mean. Don't say. I know what you mean. But like, it's like
thirst trap. That's the word. It's a thirst trap.
because like it's so many teenagers have it, and you don't realize that like it can literally like it can start from as young as 11 years old by a kid just seeing something, and then them seeing a TikTok and thinking that it's normal.
Yeah.
And then say they'd go and do the same thing as what they see in the TikTok. They go and what's the word?
That's working.
Yeah, they'd like.
It's like they get influenced.
They get influenced and then they replicate what they see thinking that it's normal. It's not normal, you know what I mean? Yeah. How would you police it? How would you police your kids on the internet? Because it's a big thing. I think it's something that we just, like, okay, the way I think about it is I don't want my, like, you say it's so easy now. They're like, oh, so I won't give my kid a phone until he's 15 or 16. Bro, the kid's gonna get 12, and then if you don't give him a phone, it's like, you know, I don't know. How would you do it?
So like on that topic, like I'm less afraid of my kid doing things at like a super early age of like say 9, versus I'm more afraid of like the next generation of my kids being unable to communicate to people in real life, or to be unable to talk to people with the other gender. So if I had a son, he would struggle to. That's my biggest worry. So what I'll do is I'll just like put my kids in so much sports and extracurricular activity where he's just constantly talking and communicating with other people. Like I'm not worried. Like obviously it is a worry if he does things at an early age, or he starts freaking. If I have a daughter and she's twerking at like the age like 9, like that isn't as bad as her just not doing anything in real life and just communicating to people through VR. That's more scary. So I just like force them into outdoor. And I feel like by default, if you like get kids like active, they sort of progress at like a normal human rate because they're not like consuming content and they're not being influenced. 100%. So that's the plan. And on topic of phone, I've thought about it a lot. I think like I'm gonna give my kid nothing. Like I'm gonna like literally give him nothing, where like if he wants something, he's gonna have to figure out how to make it. I might be like, if you want, you could wash my car for $5.
100%. That's the way we learn.
You gotta work for it. You gotta work in order to get a phone.
Did you grow up like that?
Not really. I'm the only child.
Yeah.
I'm the only child, so I was really spoiled, and my parents love me too much.
What's the word?
Yeah, it's a nice change over here where we're in the basement and everything.
It is.
Welcome to
I'm learning. I'm happy to
We
learn.
get a taste of real life.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm happy. That's what I want to
I have
know.
a feeling like if Steven didn't go through, like, didn't join my, like, didn't start working with me and interning with me, and he went straight to workforce, I feel like he'd get roasted hard or like bullied hard. And I feel like through this process, when he does get ready for the workforce, he's not going to be a target, because I feel like Steven's this target. Like, you just attract.
And we're not saying that in a bad way. It's more so that you'd be a bit naive in the way that
what's out there.
Yeah, and then you'd just be like, you'd just allow yourself to be put into situations where you shouldn't be in. And it's something that you just eventually just learn. And then I think we're all at one stage naive. But going back to what you're saying, circling back, I think it's so important where, I wouldn't give my kid a phone until say,
How are you raised? Because I think you turned out pretty well. You were like, I don't know, middle class or like, and then you turned out like pretty well, and you got a job early on.
Yeah, the way I did it is like, same as you in the sense that, okay, so from the start, like I didn't get a phone until like high school. I know I wasn't allowed Facebook, so I didn't have Facebook.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed Facebook as well.
Yeah. So I didn't get Facebook. Everyone was always like, oh, you seem like a guy that's always had Facebook. Shut up. No, I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
What's your Facebook? I don't have Facebook. I'll give you my Messenger.
Give you my MySpace. Wait, wasn't that a while ago? It'd be like that.
or like, communicate through Viber, through, the old days. But yeah, I didn't have Facebook at all through high school. I didn't get a phone. I think I had it myself, I forget. I didn't have a phone until like year 9 or 10.
Dude, I had the brick.
Yeah. Kids.
They will never know the struggle.
They
Yeah.
will know the struggle of having a brick phone. Even you, shut up, dude.
No, my first phone I got was like a small Nokia. And
I take it back.
how old I was? I was like
Year 6.
probably year 6. Yeah, but like when you unlock,
Year 6, everyone deserves a brick phone when they're in year 6.
it was terrible.
Actually, I will give my kid a brick phone. I'll give my kid a brick phone in year 6. I don't know. I remember playing Snake.
Till year 10.
Yeah, I didn't have a smartphone until year 10 as well. Yeah.
When I take it out, like I'd have to like run away. Or if someone sort of like, dude, like that could like hurt someone, dude.
I hate that.
Biggest weapon.
That's the thing. But I hate that. Like I hate that it's become a thing where it's like, wait, pull it out again. What do you got? Like, man, I'd hate that. You know what I mean? Like I remember playing Snake on my phone and like the good days. You know what I mean? Like kids nowadays will never understand. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was fun, you know what I mean? It was like, so the way I was raised, going back into it, like I didn't have that until like, I think I might have had like a really crappy touchscreen phone which had nothing on it. So yeah, I played sport, I did swimming. So the same thing, like how you did swimming? Like really young, it's important. I think all kids should start swimming when they're really young, because it's actually, even though I haven't swam in like properly. Yeah. Yeah, like I think it's important, like when you're kids, you should learn to swim, right? Yeah. So even though I haven't swum in like 13 years, I can still hold my own, right? But like, the same as you, how you said, I want my kids to play a lot of sports and stuff. Yeah, I think my parents are the same, where they wanted me to play a lot of different sports, etc. Not that I'm a sporty kid or anything. Like I played soccer for a very long time until like year 11, from when I was in under 9. So I was with the same group of guys for a very long time. But like, dude, like, I got a job. I wanted, like, same as you, I wanted to go and get a job as soon as I became eligible, just to get some extra pocket money, etc. And it became a thing where.
And what was your parents' thoughts on getting a job?
They were like, yeah, do it. You need to get a job. Yeah. Some parents I can understand if they're like, oh.
And what motivated you to get a job? Like, did you already have like a PSP, PS2, like Nintendo, like a computer? Did you already have all those things? And like, if so, what wanted you to get more pocket money? Or if not, then I guess that's what motivated you maybe? Yeah,
like, it's going to sound weird, but that was never really the motivation for me wanting to get a job. Because I had the PS2, 3, whatever, DS, PSP, the good days. The kids nowadays will never understand, you know what I mean? I had that. And like, when I got my first job, I never really thought about it as me being like, oh, I want to get more jobs so I can get extra pocket money to get this and that. Like, yeah, it was cool. But like, when you're that young, making as much money, you know what I mean? So it was like, it was more so that I just wanted to earn money. I just wanted to know what it felt like to get like proper money. And so when I started getting proper money, I was like, oh, cool. And then, yeah, I did eventually buy a few things, but like,
Dude, like on that topic, earning money is like, it's addictive. It's like a game. It's like a RPG where you're just getting experience.
you know what?
And like, I have like friends that are just like workaholics where they work like 2 jobs, they work like 100-hour weeks, and they just like save up, save up. And like, they're probably gonna get a house by the time like he's like 20, like 27, he's gonna get his first house. He's gonna, easily put 20% down, and he's just like saving. It's like this it's fun.
Yeah, and like it is something that you can get into the habit of when you are young, especially. Like, I don't think it's something that I was more so like, oh, save, whatever. It was like, I don't know, like when I first started working, it just became part of my work ethic, in the sense that I always needed to keep my mind active, and then even during
And through sports as well.
Yeah, through sports.
That like made you want to always keep yourself busy.
Yeah, and I don't know, like it's kind of weird to think about it. Like I can't imagine myself not working. So like the period early this year where I wasn't working was the first time since maybe, dude, when I was 16 where I haven't worked.
Damn.
And like I've always been working casually at that time, so it wasn't like I was working every day of the week. You know what I mean? It was more so like, I had to have a shift maybe 3 days a week, and during holidays 4 or 5 days a week, and then have 2 days break. But like, yeah, it was really different. But like, yeah, it's weird to think. Didn't really think of it that way. How about you? What was your motivation? Was it to get the new gig, new stuff, etc.?
One, I was like thinking back, I was like, damn, like from a young age, I was like, I enjoyed filling up the piggy bank. But I think like what really like drove me to like get to where I was, like I was that kid that had the brick phone for the longest time. I was that kid that didn't have a console. I was that kid that I was really lucky with my dad, since he fixed computers. Like I got a computer at a young age, I got internet at a young age thanks to my dad. But other than that, like no consoles, no nice shoes, I didn't get dude, remember in high school, the Lonsdale backpack?
Oh, the small one? And they had like the different like colors. Oh.
Bro, kids these days will never understand, dude. That was swag. That was real swag. If you didn't have, I didn't have a Lonsdale backpack either. I didn't have one yet.
It was so swag.
I think everyone wanted one.
School.
Shirt made with the tie, the shorts, and the big fat black shoes. But if you're more swaggy, you might get black Converses and the Lonsdale black backpack, and you would like bring like one textbook and like one calculator and a pencil. That was it. No pencil case, and you might bring like a freaking sandwich, and that was it. No water bottle. No water bottles. Yeah. Then you had swag. But yeah, I never got any of that. So that really like made me want to just like earn money so I could be able to get all those things. And ironically, when I started working, I wouldn't spend my money to get those things.
See, I know what you mean, because when I started making money, it was like, I knew I was making money, but it was always like when I asked, because when I got my first card, like debit card, or because nowadays whenever you get a card from the bank, you'll always get a debit MasterCard or a debit Visa card, right? But you could always, back when I first got a card, it was just a key card.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't a debit MasterCard, so you couldn't use it to make online purchases or whatever. So whenever I'd want to make an online purchase, I'd have to buy like a prepaid card. And that was like in year 11. I was doing that in year 11 and 12, where I was like, that's when I started like buying clothes. Because I wasn't buying clothes like with my money before. But like, yeah, I was the same as you. I was finally earning money and I wasn't spending it. I didn't know. And then like, I wasn't monitoring my finances when I was that young, and then I looked at my account for the first time in like year 11 and 12. I'm like, damn, like boy's been saving, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where I didn't realize.
I think,
and it wasn't a lot of money, obviously, but it's just
when I was like in year 11 or like year 10, no, around like year 11, 12, I reached 10K in my bank account. I was like, whoa. Like after years, like a whole year of working like freaking, like, you would work 2 shifts a week, and then out of those 2 shifts, it might be like a 4-hour shift and like a 6-hour shift. And by like the end of the year or year and a half or 2 years, you'd have 10K out of nowhere and you'd be like, damn. So I can definitely relate to that.
I remember when I hit that first 10K as well, in the sense that, you didn't realize, because you're always just working and you didn't like, I don't know. I think it's a good ethic to get into. Obviously, some people don't want to work. Some people's parents say that they you know, oh, don't work, you'll be working for the rest of your life, etc. Look, at the end of the day, it is up to you. If you want to do it, I'd definitely say to her. I mean, I've met some of my best friends through work. I still hang out with my people from my first job, etc. You know what I mean? Like, you learn a lot. You learn a lot. But yeah, kids nowadays never understand.
I think like another thing like people really want to do is you want to keep like leveling up with each job. Like I started at McDonald's, then I moved to retail, which was K Mart. I moved to swimming instructor, and then I would have like kept doing more and more things, but then I got into entrepreneurship.
And now I'm an entrepreneur at the age of 21.
But I saw this, there was this girl that used to work with me at K Mart, and this was year 10. So this is roughly, how many years ago?
2014, 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Damn.
And I went shopping at Woolworths. That's like our Costco, to buy some groceries. And she was working in Woolworths. So like she just stayed in retail for like 6 years. So you want to be able to like keep stepping up. Like the next step could be from retail, maybe go to like a call center or work in like a higher level retail rather than working Kmart, working like David Jones or Myers, and just or like Louis Vuitton, and just keep moving up. I think that's also super important. And then if you just keep moving up, by the time you're like 50, you're gonna be like a high manager role in whatever degree you studied in. So it's all about moving up.
100%, dude, 100%. Like I think it's something that happens internally. Like I didn't realize it, but like when I take a step back and think about like the different jobs I've had, I can 100% agree and say that like, I think you get to a point where you know yourself, all right, yeah, I've had enough. I still remember the day I wanted to quit Kmart, like my first retail job. It was Christmas, so like prior to this, Stephen and I were having a chat. Stephen wants to try and get his first job, and I was telling him how I hated Christmas, because Christmas is for retail workers. Retail workers are working Christmas, man. I feel for you, man. I've been there as well. Like it's just the worst. But yeah, I still remember like it was just a little bit after Christmas, and the way that Kmart always work is they love to understaff and then complain that the work doesn't get done because there's only one person on the floor cleaning up entire mess that gets made during Christmas. And like, I remember one day walking into work, and like by the end of it, I literally just left. Like I didn't clean up after, like I was cleaning up during the day. Like obviously I was cleaning up during my shift. And as soon as the shift, like, cause usually there's so much that needs to be done, and maybe you'll save like half an hour after your shift to like clean it up properly so that the morning people can come in afterwards and get started. I left. I just left. And my manager literally called me up on it and sat me down, like, why'd you just leave? The next day I'm like, that's when I handed it in. That's when I handed it in. I'm like, no, I can't do it anymore. Like I'm not doing it anymore. But this was like second year uni, so this was 2 years ago I quit. Early 2 years ago. So I was like, yeah, you get to a point where you've had enough, and then you get to the next job and you get your next challenge, and then you keep going. And it's a cycle.
When I was at McDonald's, I already knew that I was just gonna stay. All I needed was 6 months. 6 months, and then that's on my resume, and that'll help me get a retail job. And then like 4 or 5 months in, like everyone just like when it's packed in Macca's, it's hot, you're sweating, all the managers everyone's yelling at each other, people would like drama, and everyone's just blaming each other, and it's that type of culture. Everyone's smoking, everyone's like taking smoke breaks, and eventually I was like, I don't want to work anymore. And I put in my resignation letter. I was like, hey, due to my eczema, which was like one of the reasons, dude, it was like, it was just like so bad for my skin. But it wasn't like too bad.
But it was bad enough to want to leave. Yeah, I get you.
Exactly. And I think like I only got like worked there probably like 5 months or 4.5, but I wrote 6 months on my resume. It was 6 months. And I wanted to go ahead and just look for that next job. And it took me like a year or a year and a half to get Kmart, or like the next job. Maybe less, I don't know. But yeah, it's always looking for that next thing. But yeah, Christian, what's your thoughts?
100%, I agree. Where would you want to work? Where would your ideal place be?
Me, I would want to work in a place, like first start off, but like make it similar to my degree. So I applied for super cheap audio, because it's like cars and mechanical.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes, I'm still waiting and seeing what they say. Hopefully I get in. If I don't, that's okay. Christian can hook me up. But I'll also look for other, like, I'll also apply for like other jobs as well. Okay, now I sound really petty. Oh my god, why did I say that? Oh my god, I didn't think that through. Oh, God.
I'm playing.
I didn't think that through. I didn't think that through.
Trolling you.
I didn't think
I'm trolling, Raj.
He just looked back at me. It was like,
No. Yeah, no, like, I think, like, it's weird to say, but I think going through retail, I think everyone should experience retail. Everyone needs to experience the pain of retail. Super cheap auto is still retail, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense that it'll be good because you're getting a hand into something similar to what you're doing, and then from there, you know, you take the next step and you go and do it. But like, yeah, everyone needs to work retail, but you need to understand the pain of some retail workers, bro. Like, hey, do you work here? Shut up, bro. I'm wearing a lanyard. I'm wearing the uniform. What do you think? Oh, God. Have you seen that show Rostered On? It's this that some Aussies made some simple stand-up show Rostered On. You will love it because it's literally what you've been through in retail. You just get yelled at.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
You've seen clips. You've already seen clips on Facebook. Yeah, it's hella funny. Yeah, I've actually seen it. It's on Netflix. I watched, and it's great, bro. Like, it's something that all retail workers love.
So relatable. Dude, like those shows and like stuff like Superwog and all of them, like My Choni back in the days, it was like they somehow like everything they said was like relatable.
Yeah.
Even like TikToks, a lot of those like TikTok memes are so relatable. Like, how do they know what's happening in my family? How do they know what's happening with my Asian family? My uncle's exactly like that uncle. My mum says the exact same things my dad. How do they know?
Subtle Asian traits, and there's obviously the Indian ones, or curry traits, etc. Subtle whatever traits, you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, they go through the same stuff. Like, what the hell? Like,
it's crazy how like just like one whole generation of like people can somehow influence. Like, for example, I was having a conversation with my uncle, and how we were talking about how I think love. We're talking about how like love is just like some connection with someone. Like, when you love someone, they can't be like some magical testosterone chemical reaction where you like are connected to that person, and whenever you think about them, they're thinking about you. Like, there's no such thing. Like, what makes you really like someone or makes someone really likable is the amount of time you see someone. So the scientific reason why you really love your parents is because you've seen them the most. It's like and that's sort of why everyone loves McDonald's, because they put the ads everywhere. They put them on billboards, bus stands, TV, and you see them everywhere, and eventually you just love McDonald's. Now, what my uncle says, like, yeah, that's true, but what's stronger and you shouldn't look lightly upon is culture. Like, how culture says that you have a loving bond from your mum and kids, or family is families. You know, family should always love each other. If you have siblings, you have like a family connection. The culture is so strong where that it creates
the bond.
Exactly, and you can't take culture lightly. Like, culture has the ability to create things that aren't real. Like, culture had the ability to make a bunch of homosexual people suppress it and make...
Not suppress, the opposite of suppress.
Yeah, the opposite of suppress. It had the ability to make like a bunch of people just like have no gay relationships. Like, for example, like for like centuries, we didn't have any gay relationships.
Yeah.
Well, it was like not many.
It was not that as much.
Because of culture. And somehow people just like became straight. They were forced to become straight.
It's something that transcends through time. It transcends through generations. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I didn't think of it. Like, obviously, culture will always be there no matter what. Like, it's always something that's passed down from your family to family. And then, you know, as time goes on, I think we're seeing it now. Culture continues to like expand, broaden horizon, in the sense that there's always going to be new, different sort of aspects of something opening up. And you're seeing now with the wider acceptance of different people in the communities, etc., and more people coming out, etc. It's obviously great, and like that just shows our culture like will always be pertinent through time, etc. You know what I mean? So like, it is one of those things. But I think going back to I think our generation compared to our parents' generation is probably the biggest gap in terms of what we've been exposed to when we were young in terms of technology. We've grown up with the internet, etc. So I think there's a big gap, and then probably going to be an even bigger gap with our children, etc. So it's something that'll always be there, but culture will always Like I remember talking to one of my friends the other day. He goes, I can't wait to have kids, and just after a long day of work, and I see them pissing me off, I'm just slap the out of them. And I'm like, yeah, that's culture, bro. That's the culture I remember growing up with. Obviously, it's a joke. It's a joke.
I just think it's scary. That stuff like that scares me. Like thinking about like, because that's so real. Like parents taking it out on their kids. Fuck. Oh shit.
Not so much take. Okay, look, it is a joke, but
It's
it's
a
also
joke.
like
I'm saying-
discipline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
discipline. But like, yeah, like it is one of those things at the end of the day.
And like talking about culture, it's insane how like we've seen those viral videos where like top 10 songs that you like in the 2000s, or like all these old TV shows that you know about. There was this viral Facebook page that had all these Australian TV shows that we watched as a kid, and it would go viral because everyone could relate to it. Culture is so massive, where that in subtle Asian traits, for some reason, every single Asian parent does the exact same thing because their culture has been just so, it's been spreaded.
And it's interesting because I wonder what it's going to be like for us when we're raising our children, because the culture is going to be so much different. There's like inherently, we don't realize it, but like we're going to have these same sort of traits that we were brought up with from our parents in terms of how we were disciplined, how we were educated, how we were brought up. Those sort of traits that we don't realize we're going to eventually pass down, right? But there's also going to be other aspects given in like what's happening around the world and like continuous changing. I think, say racism for one, you know, that's something that's going to be very different from when we're there. But like, yeah, it all comes down to education.
Dude, I'm just like thinking.
Yeah, well, I saw your face. Like, what are you scheming, you little
Ooh, he's plotting something.
The kids are just getting softer and softer. I feel like as like the next generation, like kids, like for some reason, I'm just like imagining like in the Asian culture, like eventually, like when we have kids, it's gonna be like these kids like where they're like super young, they have like big bubbly heads, and they wear glasses because they're being on a computer, and they're just like doing the
TikTok dances and all that.
These kids with the glasses
Oh my god.
and everything.
That fool like dabbing everywhere.
Oh, I feel like kids are just getting softer and softer. I don't know. What's your thoughts? Do you think like the generation is getting softer and softer?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's probably what our parents and stuff thought as well when they saw it.
I'm definitely way softer than my parents.
Yeah, especially, dude,
my
there's
dad,
no way would be able to grow up.
he's like frail and but like he can somehow carry fridges, even like your
like my
dad.
dad, yeah,
Like my
holy
dad's
shit.
frail, he can carry fridges, carry things, and I'm like, and back then I was like bulking, going to gym, and I was struggling, and he was just like he was like good. And like my mom, she's definitely way stronger than me, and like I'm definitely much weaker than my parents, like physically and
Mentally, especially. No, I think mentally, 100%.
way like being like I can't go through the same like.
No, there's no way. I would never be able to do what they did. Impossible.
But then on the other side, there's so many things that our generation are so much better and excel at than the generation above, for sure.
That'll always be a common theme across all the generations, but I think children of first generation immigrants is the work ethic will never be the same.
Yeah.
There's no way. I won't ever be able to replicate the work ethic my mom and dad went through. There's no way. Like I no matter how hard I work, there's no way. I can't.
I learned something recently about working busy and working smart, or like maintaining a boat versus doing things to make the boat faster. How like I saw that like subconsciously, I've always been doing things to make the boat move faster. So if I wanted to just maintain the boat, I'd be doing sales calls 24/7 because I'll be able to, you know, do like close more deals and make more money.
And it'd just stay afloat. It would, yeah.
I would probably just film YouTube videos every day personally. I would probably do a lot of meetings and try to network and do a lot of things. I'll be posting all my, like all these, I would be doing all the emails. That's sort of just like maintaining. But building a system where you have a sales team, that's something that makes the boat move faster. Hiring someone to do your customer service, that makes the boat move faster. And what I realized is like everyone just maintains, everyone just stays afloat.
Yeah.
No one actually does things that move them forward. And that's sort of the biggest strength. And then obviously what I find myself doing is like, I keep freeing up more time and I start being more and more lazy, but I'm still able to do more because with that extra time, like for example, now I don't have to work 2 days a week.
Yeah, I saw the board now.
My week down to 2 freaking days. I used to work like 6, 7 days, 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, and now I compress it down to 2. But
I remember watching one of your vlogs. You said that you got yourself down to 3 days, and now you can get yourself down to 2 days. Yeah.
I recently got it down to 2, and now I use the remaining 4 to sort of continue.
Make the boat go faster.
Exactly, make the boat faster, do things, and that's another like interesting thing I recently learned. And what we our parents do, or even like people in like lawyers or like accountants, they just maintain.
Yeah.
They maintain.
Yeah.
And like they don't do things that allow them to grow. They don't go ahead and read books or do courses to allow them to get a promotion. They don't do side gigs, or they don't research about investing so they could invest on the side. So they're always just staying afloat, and as a result they just grind so hard. And like I thought to myself, why don't I grind as hard as other people? And I realized because I just keep focusing on doing things that don't allow me to grind.
Yeah.
And that's why Bill Gates, there's a quote, he likes to hire lazy people, because lazy people will always find an easier way to do things. And I'm like pretty lazy.
I'm hella lazy. I get what you mean. Like, I like to find my shortcuts in the things I do to make it easier. But yeah.
Dude, I remember in America, I had a task. We had to like scrape a bunch of emails or something, and I was like on a holiday. Like they let me go to Las Vegas, and they kicked me out, got me to sort of travel America. They gave me work to do. I just like hired a virtual assistant to do it for like $5, like $3. And then I was like yeah, and I just chilled for the whole break.
Yeah. That's smart, man. That's smart. I gotta give it to you. Holy shit.
He's staying in the basement with us. That's why he's here.
He got our first sponsor. Yeah. Our first sponsor. I'm very happy.
We'll announce that shortly.
Yeah.
We'll announce that. That'll be cool.
We announce it.
I'm excited as well.
Next episode or?
It'll take a while.
No,
Oh yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
You locked it down, and
I will.
you're asking the questions.
I'm so happy. That's why.
We've hit the 55-minute mark. What do you say? You want to keep?
I think this was a good session. Like,
It was really good.
one, this is the first in-person session. Congratulations, everyone. 2, I think like when we were setting this up, I was like, guys, we're gonna start recording in 3 minutes, because I knew if we didn't,
Yeah, we'd prolong it.
We procrastinate.
like we started recording before even Stephen got Audacity set up. Like I think the trick is just to do it straight away and like have the first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes wasn't even that rusty, but have that 5 minutes get fine-tuned really quick into what we have going now, rather than spend half an hour getting it perfect to not have that 5 minutes of fine-tuning. And there's a good chance that you're still going to have that 5 minutes of fine-tuning because of things that you can't predict. So that's something I really learned, the power of just doing it straight away. Power of now.
I remember.
So guys, thank you so much for watching / listening. 10 episodes in, even if you don't listen to us every week. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode, our first collaboration. Hope to have many more coming up as well. Episode 10 is a little bit different. You get to see us in person talking. Maybe, if you like it, if you enjoy the format, we'll think about doing it some more in the future as well. And can't guarantee Stephen will be here, but he's got his duties to do. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Andy, you want to sign off?
Yeah, thank you so much for everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. Been having a blast. This is something that I can definitely see us doing like 100 episodes in, Christian. Like I think like it's just gonna keep growing, and like, knowing me, like we're gonna take this to the moon. And you guys are part of the ride, and you guys are on this rocket ship, and I'm really excited for this podcast. Like I think I've never been someone to figure and crack things early on. I just like do it for a long period of time and just have it compound. Like I'm not the person that's we're not gonna go viral in like the first 20 episodes. It's just gonna build slow and steady, and just through my sheer grit.
Yeah, 100%. Through like just
Talented. Yeah. I'm not talented. I just through grit and just doing things again and again, we finally figure it out. So yeah, thank you for this, everyone. This is episode 10. It's gonna be so amazing watching back.
I want Stephen to sign out. The final word. Final word.
This has been episode 10 of The Flip Side. Also, it's Halloween in Sydney right now. Well, a couple hours, it's gonna end. But if it is Halloween over there, hope you guys are having fun trick or treating. Stay safe, and yeah, special episode. I'm happy to meet Christian today. Christian's a very nice guy. Hopefully, I get to like hang out with him more. But yeah, thanks.
I love these guys. So funny.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting mix. Peace.